welcome back to Zoe Breakfast Show. And what a show we have lined up for you today, because right now we are in the segment of a live conversation. As you can see right there on the screen, I'm about to introduce to you our guest today. And our guest this morning, as you can see right there, is Maryanne Kibuchi. She is a psychologist, and we are here to talk about men's trauma, their relationships, and healing. And in a short while, you'll be able to have a look, at our guest and be able to enter into that live conversation. Remember, this conversation is live on Facebook, Zoe TV, on YouTube, Zoe TV. You can ask us questions. You can SMS. You can even call on 0700-075-555. We also want to remind you our question of the day. I can see quite a number of people are still answering the question of the day. We will be getting to that particular segment. We are reminding you again our question of the day right there on your screen. What has 5 fingers but it's not a hand? Yes, that's a mind-blowing question. Talk to us. What do you think has 5 fingers but it's not a hand? I'll be reading your comments in a short while. But first and foremost, we want to meet our guest. It's so good to have you. Thank you so much. I want to welcome you. Welcome to Zoe Breakfast Show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We are so glad that you're here, Maryanne Kibuchi.
Yeah.
And looking at that camera, I want you to introduce yourself to our viewers.
Oh, hi guys. So my name is Maryanne Kibuchi, and I'm a trauma-informed wealth psychologist. And I'm also a men's therapist, and I'm happy to be here today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Maryanne, you're saying you're a men's therapist.
Yes.
You deal with the issues of men. How comes? Not women.
Not women.
Uh-huh.
It's not because of anything, but I felt, number one, it's a calling.
Mm-hmm.
It's a personal calling. And number two, it's a gap that I identified that we are not really focusing on.
Yeah.
And I think I always say that men are usually the foundation of the society.
Mm-hmm.
So if the foundation is not okay, then the whole society crumbles.
Yeah.
So that is one of the reasons as to why I decided to delve into that.
Mm-hmm.
And to address the issues and talk about the things that we rarely talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So today we are talking about men's trauma, their relationships, and healing.
Yeah.
Let's begin right there.
Okay.
What is trauma? How can we define trauma so that we see exactly what are we talking about, and then we get it from there?
Okay. So trauma is it is an emotional wound that is caused by a very sudden event, something that happened suddenly, something that was upsetting, something that was it was not you're not psychologically prepared for it, something that is very heavy and very upsetting. So let's say, for example, something like sexual violence, something like there is also the concept of emotional abuse. There is the issue of they are called the natural disasters, things like tornadoes and such like things, tornadoes, hurricanes, and all of that.
Yeah.
There is also the issue of violence at home. Let's say, for example, when you're talking about childhood trauma, there's the element of violence where the caregivers were very violent towards that a child.
Yeah.
So it's a very traumatic experience, something that happened suddenly and you didn't expect it, and that causes that emotional wound. So it is called a traumatic experience.
A traumatic experience.
Yes.
Talk of emotional wounds, because many times we always focus on emotional wounds are hidden.
Yeah.
Yeah. But these are the physical wounds
Yeah.
are visible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so when we talk about emotional wounds, how far can they be visible?
Okay. When you're talking about emotional wounds, especially for men,
Yeah.
it is usually seen in behavior. So we see issues with drug and substance abuse.
Okay.
We see issues with violence. We see issues with anger outbursts. We see, and sometimes even with depression. So emotional wounds are those ones that are within you. Something happened to you and you are not able to process it in your mind, and it caused it hurt you, and you are not able to resolve that. You are not able to feel it and express it in a healthy way.
Yes.
So when that happens, then it causes that wound, and then if it is not addressed, it festers. It's like a wound you cut.
Okay.
If it is not taken care of, it festers, grow, inaanza kupata bacteria, inaanza it becomes a bad thing. So ideally, with emotional wounds, they are a bit tricky to identify with yourself, but if you know what to look out for, then you'll know what to do and how to address that wound.
Okay.
Yeah.
In fact, we want to dig deeper into that and begin to understand what are the signs. What are the signs, and probably, I don't know, I could call it symptoms that really show that someone is going through an emotional traumatic experience. You're going through emotional wounds, because you have said they may not be so much visible, but they are seen in behavior. What are the signs that shows that someone is going through a traumatic experience?
Okay, so they can be categorized in emotional signs or physical signs or even psychological signs. So we have issues like like I've mentioned in behavior. You see a man who is going to drink. He's avoiding. He's not going home. He's drinking very late at night, and he's coming back home very drunk, or he's coming back home the next day. We have issues with anger, and anger is one of the issues, one of the main things that we are actually able to even diagnose depression in men.
Okay.
So we have anger, and we have those anger outbursts. Sometimes it's even in those men who are quiet. Yeah. When you amenyamaza unafikiria tu ako tu sawa. Kwanza, that one is the worst, because they don't say anything. And you're like, this man is always okay. And outside there, he's very happy, he's very jovial, he's the life of the party. But akienda nyumbani, he's not okay. So it's also good to look out for those signs, even within yourself. We always say that if you feel like you are the one who is having an issue, it is good to reach out first to seek help. Even before somebody else comes to reach out and to ask you if you're okay. So those are some of the signs. We have issues like withdrawal, attachment. We always talk about attachment styles in relationships. So we have you're not able to attach very well in relationships. You're there. There's usually the anxious attachment style, where you're there with the person, but you're not really trusting your partner. You are very anxious that they are going to leave you, that they are going to cheat on you. We have the disorganized attachment style, which is the anxious attachment style, and it's usually anxious, and there's one that you're not able to really connect with someone. You're avoiding emotional situations. So you find that it's an imbalanced relationship. So those are some of the things that you can look out for. Issues with relating with yourself. You don't have a very good thoughts about yourself. You're not able to relate with other people very well, and you also withdraw a lot. You isolate yourself. So those are some of the warning signs to look out for. Okay.
Yeah. When it comes to trauma, men deal with this issue differently from women. And probably you can let us know what is the difference between how men deal with trauma and how women deal with trauma, so we can be able to understand what is the difference.
Okay. For men, I think for them it's very different. It's I usually say, like, every man is an individual, like every man is unique. Kuna those stereotypes that we say all men are this, but every man is very unique. Men have different personalities and all of that. But generally speaking, between men and women, we see men, when they're having issues, sometimes they don't talk about it. They don't talk about it at all.
We are told as men, especially when it comes to men, we are told, you cannot be emotional. You cannot show people that you're going through a tough situation. So all our lives as men, we have grown up becoming like, we want to show the strong face. But deep inside, we have issues. That's what you're saying.
Yes. And that is the issue. And whenever I'm creating awareness on men's mental health, I always say please there's something called vulnerability. Vulnerability is being quote unquote naked and ashamed and unashamed. Naked and unashamed. Not literally, but I'm talking about emotionally. And vulnerability, you don't just share it with everyone. You share it with just specific people. It's not everyone you're going to share your issues with. Juu watu wengine watakwambia wezo, hiyo ni maisha, you know. Or they don't have the emotional capacity to handle what you're trying to share with them. So it's good to, with vulnerability, it helps to get those emotional things that you're struggling with, you talk about them openly in an environment that you feel safe, and you're able to, be supported, because also men deserve support. Yeah.
And the women, how do they deal with trauma?
For women, for us, it's usually I'm not saying like it's usually the same for every woman, but majority, what we do is we usually talk about it. We talk about it, we share it with our girlfriends, tuko hapo, tuko na chama, we have these social groups, you go to church, you do all these activities, and we talk about issues. So that talking about it is what actually helps us build that resilience. Actually, when you're talking about trauma, I've just remembered, when you're talking about trauma, for men, it is, for men, they are able to deal with it, especially when a traumatic event has happened. They're able to handle it very well, and they're able to, get things moving, nanini. Sometimes they're like to address the issue at hand, and then let's say, for example, an accident. They support, they do all that, and then after washamaliza kila kitu ndio sasa wako like, or sasa the emotional effects of what they have witnessed, that's when it starts kicking in. But sasa for men, they're able to handle traumatic events when they happen. For women, it's a little bit relatively more difficult for us, according to research. But when it comes to the long-term game, sasa hapo ndio inakuanga issue. In the long term, chances are women are able to talk about it, they're able to go for therapy, they're able to go to church, they're able to seek support, they're able to do all these things, they receive that support. And for men, they relatively don't receive that emotional support. So eventually women heal as time goes, but for men, kuna kitu tu itabaki hapo. There's that wound yenye itabaki hapo, nikikosa kuwa addressed, sasa hapo ndio inaanza kuleta issues. And that's where I love talking about even the issue of between men and women. I can ask you, who do you think lives longer?
Who do I think lives longer?
Yes.
I could say this because I've also been looking at some of those statistics, and sometimes it has amazed me that we find that women are living longer. I'm wondering, I don't know if that is true, but it looks like women are living longer than men.
Yes.
Why?
Those are some of the issues then I want to bring to people's awareness. The thing is, there are practices women do and engage in that actually are very good skills. They are very good skills. Things like, let's say something like talking about it, sharing, being in social circles, just especially in the talking bit. Hapo ndio inakuanga tricky. For men, they might not be able to find that safe space to talk about it, to vent and to just talk about their issue. Plus the society has told them to, man up, So the issue is when they don't talk about it, the wound remains, and then they're not able to address it. And then sasa, your stress, those emotional issues, they remain within the body because they are not being expressed. And then automatically it ends up, men end up getting sicknesses. Another, they don't live very long, or apparently he got sick suddenly and now he's in hospital, and then the next time you hear he's gone, So some of these issues, quote unquote, it's ni vitu za wamama, quote unquote, but if you look at it deeper, they are just good practices and healthy skills that men can also adapt and engage in their day-to-day lives to enhance their life and to also improve their longevity.
Yes, indeed, we are talking to Maryanne Kibuchi. She's a psychologist, and what a conversation we are having right here on Zoe Breakfast Show. Today is Wellness Monday, and every Monday we talk about issues to do with your total well-being. And this morning we are addressing mental health, we are addressing trauma, so that we can be able, especially to address the issues that men are going through. What are some of the experiences that probably your man could be going through? This program is for you and even for your man. It is for you and your wife. Make sure that as a sister girl you connect, so that in fact we are taking a short break. After this short break, we'll dive into some of these issues. We'll dive into some of them, be able to look at some of the experiences that men go through, and what our psychologist right here this morning, Maryanne Kibuchi, has to say in regard to some of these experiences. Sometimes men, we go through much, and sometimes we don't talk about it, and we want to see what are some of these experiences and how we can be able to deal with them. You are watching Zoe Breakfast Show. Don't tap that dial. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with our guest this morning. Zoe TV, inspiring lives. Yes, indeed. Welcome back to Zoe Breakfast Show. Right now, we are in the segment of the life conversation, and we are speaking with our guest this morning. Indeed, Maryanne Kibuchi, a psychologist, helping us to understand men's trauma, their relationships, and their healing. Welcome back, Maryanne.
Thank you.
And we are so glad that you're here.
Yes.
As we continue with this discussion, I know you have been dealing with men issues. You know, you've been there, you've been a psychologist, you've been talking to men.
Yes.
What are some of these big things that you can say, this is what men are going through, this is what men are battling, this is what men are struggling in?
That's a very, very good question, and it's a very rich question.
Yeah.
Number one, the issue of identity.
Okay.
Identity is such a big issue. I realize that not very many men know who they are,
Okay.
and that's an issue. Number two, I will talk about finances. Finances is a big issue because men, the way it's usually, even the way they are socialized socialized to be providers.
Yes.
So if that ability to provide and to give, to put something on the table to feed their families is, you know, they are not able to have an access to that, then it becomes an issue. The other thing that I will talk about, I will say they are the big three.
The big three. You've talked about identity,
and then there's finances, and then now relationships. Yes.
Yeah. Let's begin with identity. Let's look at identity, because I'm wondering, I know who I am. My name is Michael Chosen. Is that my identity? Or how would you define identity?
Oh, that's a very good question. Now, identity is when everything has been stripped away.
Okay.
When your money has been stripped away, you don't have a house, you don't have a car, you have nothing. What is left remaining? That is your identity.
Okay.
It is not on the it's not dependent on the outside things. It is dependent on what is going on within you.
Okay.
Yeah, how do you think of yourself? Do you know who you are? Do you know what your values are? I know many times, even for us women, human beings in general, we usually attach identity to our social roles.
Yes.
So if you are not dad, if you are a dad, and we remove the title dad, who are you? You know, if you remove the title of doctor, or you remove the title of engineer, who are you?
Who are you?
Who are you? Who is the true you?
That's your identity.
Yes. So that is who I would say is you. Everything has been stripped away. The core self, the core you, that is not clouded by your traumas, because sometimes trauma impacts the way you think about yourself. It impacts your identity. You know, let's say, for example, we sometimes say that I'm an introvert, I'm an extrovert, but are you really an introvert?
Okay.
Or is that an identity that was caused as a result of a traumatic experience you had in your childhood, let's say, for example?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So identity, we have to deal with that. Then talk about the issues of money, finances.
The issue of finances. Okay, so many times when when I'm talking with men, one of the things that they talk about is the issue of jobs. Hatuna jobs. Maryanne, hatuna jobs. You know, and it's a very deep issue. I usually feel it, and I'm usually like, okay,
Yes.
you don't have a job, so what can you be able to do about it? Can you be able to learn a skill? Are you able to exercise that skill up to that place where you develop that resilience and you're able to persevere mpaka you're able to see the end result?
Yes.
But the problem is now people, not even people, because sometimes I've also fallen in that category of we just want instant things. I am working today and I want to be a millionaire tomorrow.
Yes.
So we need to also understand that process. It's a process to make you, to enhance your identity, to help you become a better person, to develop the capacity to be able to handle certain things and matters in life.
Yeah.
So with the issue of finances, I always say that it's an issue, it's a real issue. But if you are given that money, or if you are able to get that job, is it really going to solve the issues that you are currently having?
Yeah.
It may solve part of them, but is it going to solve everything? Yeah, so it's an area that you look at holistically.
Yeah. You know, today, Maryanne, we have so many men that are watching us right now, the boy child, that are into betting, into gambling. As you say that they are looking for instant success, and sometimes all this pressure is coming from home because they are supposed to be providers. They are supposed to give their very best, and sometimes the high cost of living, there are no jobs, and the pressure is on them, the trauma is on them. How do you address the issue? Because many of them are into betting and to gambling.
Yeah, sure.
What's your view?
When you're talking about betting and gambling, it's an issue of addictions.
Okay.
So what is this thing that is causing you to become addicted to betting and gambling? What is that one thing that you're trying to resolve within yourself? So we get deeper in that. Always when you're talking about addictions, we don't, because there are very many types of addictions. There's, kuna mwenye ako addicted to maybe gambling, kuna mwingine ako addicted to watching Netflix. There's the issue of pornography, masturbation. There's the issue of there are so many things out there that are screaming, they're screaming at us and they want our attention. So it's good to understand even the brain chemistry, the issue of dopamine. Kuna yenye ni kama it's like the experiments of rats, zikifinya a certain thing, then inapata chakula. Like there's that instant fix and rush that comes as a result of betting. Ukibet mara ya kwanza upate pesa, adrenaline ndio hiyo, and then you're like, oh my god, let's do this thing again and again, and then you become hooked. So the thing is, like, we are able to address the root issues. Where is this thing coming from? I'm always one big fan of addressing the root issues. You may come to, maybe you're coming for therapy and you are talking about, I'm addicted to betting, but betting is not really the issue.
Oh, betting is not the issue.
It is not the issue.
There's a deeper issue. that needs to be looked at.
And actually trauma is one of them.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Trauma is one of them.
Yes.
So that probably somebody is going there to look for a solution out of a deeper issue that is going on.
Yes.
Let's talk about relationships. We are in the month of love.
Yes.
Valentine is around the corner.
Yes.
Valentine is around the corner. And as we look into the issue, you've mentioned that relationship is one of the critical area that many men are into trauma today. Because probably, they were dumped. But it's not just men who dump, or not just women. It happens vice versa. Probably they were hurt. And today we have even seen passions of crimes of passions, where it has rooted into murder, men murdering, and a lot of, we were talking about femicide, an issue that we addressed last week here on Zoe Breakfast Show, and we had a guest that had come to talk to us about the intentional killing of women and girls. It is happening, and men are the ones that are causing things to happen. Talk about relationships. Where do we begin?
Wait. Okay, this one is an emotional issue. I feel like this one is an emotional issue. I actually realized that when you are talking about relationships, how you are relating to your girlfriend or how you are relating to your spouse is actually influenced by the way you saw your parents relating. So if you don't address that thing that you saw intentionally, because I always talk about intentionality.
Yes.
If you don't address that thing you saw by reading books or trying to go for therapy or trying to research more about it to understand what relationships are like, what are the relationship dynamics, then you go in there, it's called, huku nje wanaitanga oops and inshallah.
Okay.
You
Okay.
go and oops and inshallah in that relationship.
Yes.
And then it becomes an issue. So now you have a conflict. You don't know how to address that conflict. You don't know the issues of boundaries, healthy boundaries within a relationship.
Yes.
Number one, you don't even know who you are. You don't have a sense of identity.
Yes.
You don't love yourself. So how are you going to have the capacity to love somebody else? You know?
Yeah.
And then unaingia kwa relationship uko like, now this relationship is going to be the way I saw my parents relate, whether you're conscious of it or not. So if you grew up in a very, I call it tumultuous child environment where parents were constantly fighting, your father was beating your mom, you saw all that chaos, ukiingia kwa hiyo relationship, chances are, and if you're not informed, you might end up repeating the same cycles.
Okay.
Yeah, in that relationship. And then sasa unakuta hizo sasa tunaita crimes of passion na nini, and it's also an issue of trying to understand your emotions. Like for men, I have noticed for men, when you're talking about there are so many emotions, women usually say I am feeling embarrassed, I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling afraid, I'm feeling guilty. There are those emotions. But for men, hizo quote unquote, then I don't call them negative emotions, but for the sake of our audience to understand, I will call them negative emotions. Those negative emotions, for men, they are clustered into one, which is called anger.
Okay.
Inatokea kama anger. So this man is feeling probably the lady they are relating with the lady, they go outside, she does something and he feels embarrassed. So what emotion is he going to portray? That anger. But he doesn't know it is embarrassment that he's feeling. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes.
So for him, it's about, for men, it's about understanding their emotions and not rushing to relationships, because sometimes I have often noticed for us, when we are often hurting, we look for the things that will try to fill that gap. You know, you're hurting and you're in pain, but you don't want to sit with that pain. So what do? Let me get into a relationship. And then sasa siku hizi ni kuingia kwa relationship, and then unaachana na huyo dem, uko like tume break up, unaingia kwa rebound, unaingia in another relationship. So the cycle continues, you don't heal. And for men, it's usually tricky because sometimes they are not really informed about these things. Yeah.
All right. In fact, my question right now, we are about to take a short break.
Okay.
I would want to understand, it's possible for a man to go through a very traumatic experience in their childhood,
Yes.
to the point that it goes all the way with them into their marriage. He goes with all this trauma
Yes.
into his career life. He goes with all this trauma into his later life. That's possible,
Yes.
unless it is addressed.
Yes, it is possible. In fact, I love what you've mentioned, even in career life.
Okay.
Unashangaa mbona mtu akona anger outbursts at work. You know, they are easily triggered, akona maasira, he's withdrawn, haongeangi na watu, he's rude. So you're wondering, what is wrong with this quote-unquote boss?
Okay.
But it's some of the issues that he's not being able to address. Because we are human beings and we often experience pain.
Okay.
And I always say pain demands to be felt. If you do not feel that pain and you express it in a healthy way, then it becomes an issue. And that's why I always try to create awareness. Nasema na bring awareness to the issue itself, and they tell you, oh, so you're feeling pain, this is how you can be able to express it. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. That is how we were going to take a short break. Indeed, Maryanne Kibuchi is talking to us right now with this live conversation today happening right now on Soy Breakfast Show. And what a guest, what a conversation we are having this morning. Even as we are about to take a short break, we'll get to a place where we now talk about, how do you diagnose trauma and how do you get healed? And that is where we were heading to, because we have to address healing There are many men that are wounded, Maryanne.
Yes.
Many people that are asking, how can I get out of the trauma that I faced probably 10 years ago?
Yes.
13 years ago, it has affected my life, my marriage, my career life. And we'll get into that. But even as we get to that, I want to remind our viewers right there at home, our question of the day. Yes, our question of the day is coming right there on your screen. What has 5 fingers but it's not a hand? Maryanne, you want to attempt that question? What has 5 fingers but it's not a hand?
Hi. Can I answer it?
Yes, you can. You can attempt. What do you think is your answer?
What is it called? A surgical glove.
A surgical glove?
Yes.
Okay. It has 5...
It has 5 fingers.
5 fingers.
But it doesn't have
But
a
it
hand.
doesn't have a hand.
Yes.
Okay. According to our guest this morning, he's saying the answer is a surgical glove. What is your answer? Talk to us this morning on 0700-075-225. I can see quite a number of you have given us a feedback. And even as we come back in a short while, I will be reading your comments and even your feedback right here on Zoe Breakfast Show. Today is Wellness Monday. I believe you will get well. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with our guest this morning. We are having a live conversation right now with Maryanne addressing men's issues, men's trauma, their relationships and healing. I want to appreciate Roxanne Womack. Thank you so much for connecting with us this morning on Zoe Breakfast Show. It is always great to have you on board every morning and you're saying, hallelujah, I believe God's word, I will hold on to it. That is from our topic of discussion that we had this morning. And according to the question of the day, Roxanne Womack, you're telling us is a glove. Yeah? Yeah? What has 5 fingers but it's not a hand? You're telling us it is a glove. And even you're reminding us some of the things that we discussed in the morning. You are receiving divine speed, divine elevation and divine strength. What a word we had this morning. You want to go back to a topic of discussion and understand what we are talking about. Because we are talking about never forget the word yet. Never forget the word yet. Tina Juma, thank you so much for connecting with us this morning. I appreciate you and I want to thank you so much. Andy Moas, one of our greatest fans on Zoe Breakfast Show. Good to have you. Good to have you on board this morning. We really appreciate you. And someone else is saying, good morning. I'm Victor Mushindi, tuned in at Juja. I love the conversation about trauma and healing. Send greetings to the guests all the way from Juja.
This is well received, thank you.
All the way from Juja. She was my sister's girlfriend, Irene, growing up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah, wow, that is great. Raise Rapper KE, you're saying the show, it's lit. Raise Rapper 254, we appreciate you. You're saying the show, it's lit. And we thank you so much. Victor Mushindi, good to have you on board. Thank you so much for being part and parcel of Zoe Breakfast Show this morning. And they are saying hello to you.
Hi guys. I appreciate you.
Wow, that is great.
Yeah.
Let's continue with our discussion. We are now into the aspect, we have addressed the situation. We have seen that men are going through so much.
Yeah.
Emotional wounds, emotional trauma. We have to get healed. Because I can imagine, what if somebody doesn't get treated out of trauma? Let's begin right there.
Ooh.
What if these issues are not addressed?
It becomes chaos. It becomes chaotic.
Yeah.
Right now we are talking about the issue of male suicide. Men are ending their lives. We are seeing issues with violence and you're wondering what is happening. Why are men so angry? We are seeing issues with, with drug and substance abuse. We are seeing there's a lot of hopelessness. Even as sometimes when I walk around home, I see there are men who are out there in the streets. They are doing nothing the whole day. They are just sitting in a corner. And I'm wondering, okay, where did we go wrong? What is happening?
Yeah.
But I think there is hope. So that is where the healing, now we are going to talk about that healing so that our men can know what they can do and know that help is available and support is available. Yeah.
I like what you have said, because you have said even as we see men moving into alcoholism, into drugs,
Yeah.
into, some of these things, immorality.
Yeah.
And you have said that indeed sometimes it's not that issue. There's a deeper.
Yes.
There's a deeper issue.
Thank you. Yes,
Yes.
yes, exactly. That is exactly what I've been trying to create awareness on.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're talking about all these issues na ziko hapa tu
At the surface level.
but you're not really going deeper and you're not asking enough questions. I think we need to ask questions, and with those questions, when you see there's something that you can do, we can all do something about it. Yeah.
Let's begin right here on Say Breakfast. Today's Wellness Monday. We talk about the total wellness of the body, mind, and spirit.
Yes.
And soul. How does a man come to a place of now, addressing their traumatic experiences, the trauma they have gone through, and where do they start looking for healing?
Oh, wow.
Because there are many of us who are wounded. Right now, there's somebody watching us on this show that are wounded. They are wounded emotionally. They are wounded psychologically. They are wounded mentally. Where do we start, Maryanne?
Wow. You can start where you are at. You start with what you have and where you are at. You don't need to go big. You just need to start small. So one of the things I always recommend is going for therapy.
Okay.
Yeah, there are so many therapies now, like there's so many therapies when you are available sahi, if you needed help. And I always talk about going to trauma-informed therapists or trauma specialists when you anaweza kusaidia to walk through, like to address they are informed on trauma. They know what exactly to look for and how to address
You're one of the trauma-informed, psychologists and therapists.
Yes.
So
yes.
people can come
Yes.
to look out for you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, please. So we are. I'm ready to take you through the therapy sessions. There's the issue of therapy. There's also the issue of researching on these therapy resources. So if you don't know about trauma, you've heard about it right now, you can do a research. And nowadays, you have a phone, you have internet, you have data bundles or Wi-Fi. You can just get into your phone and research what is trauma and start from there and start reading slowly, because it is the small tiny habits that build up to become a big thing. So researching about it and reading books, reading widely about it. Let's say, for example, the issue of relationships.
Okay.
If you don't know what to read on relationships, I always talk about this lady. She knows how to, she talks about vulnerability. Her name is Brené Brown. Brené is B-R-E-E, then Brown. She talks about emotional vulnerability and how you can be able to talk about issues openly, and perhaps even with friendships, start creating and cultivating healthy relationships with fellow men and with other people as well, with women, and with people who will create that environment where you can start having deeper conversations on how you can heal and how you can receive support.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So in fact, I'm interested in the issue of therapy, because every time we are told go for therapy, go for therapy, you need to sit down with a psychologist or a psychotherapist like you.
Yes.
What exactly is therapy? What exactly happens when somebody comes for therapy?
Okay. So therapy is that process where you find a therapist. I always say that therapists wamesomea, so it's not just somebody who is coming out of nowhere. Wamesomea on psychology and counseling, and it is all about you going to a place where somebody is going to sit down and listen to what you have to say without judgment, and they create that safe space for you to just vent and talk about the issues that are affecting you. Yeah, because there is a lot of judgment outside there. But in therapy spaces, there is the issue of confidentiality. Whatever you're going to say within that therapy setup, it's not going to be shared outside. Though the therapy sessions, they're usually confidential, but they usually have a few limits. Let's say, for example, if you are at risk to harm yourself or to harm other people, then we might have to disclose. Or the issue of if you give us permission to disclose, or if you have engaged in criminal activities, or when the court has subpoenaed us and asked us to disclose some of the things that we've talked about in therapy. So those are some of the limitations. But we usually create that safe space to be able to for you to come and find that safety to just share, and you find direction. So let's say when you're coming to talk about the issues that you're going through, we say that the answer lies within you. So we don't tell you what to do. The solution is within you. So our work is to guide you in that process. Because as you start sharing, you are like, oh, by the way, I didn't even know this is what has happened to me. So it is that process of sharing and finding the solutions that are already there, but you're probably blinded to.
Yeah. So like, how many therapy sessions do someone need to maybe go through, and be able to overcome the trauma they're going through right now?
The therapy sessions they are not limited. It depends on the issues that you want to address in therapy. I will tell you that this is the number, and then you come and you find it's actually more.
Okay.
But the least number of sessions, they're usually 3.
At least 3? At least
3. They're lists. Okay. But relatively for a general issue, it could be 5 sessions and you're good to go. For some, it could be more. There are other people who take like 20 sessions. So it depends on the nature of issue.
It depends on the nature?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. I wanted to give us hope right there. Can somebody totally recover from a traumatic experience, from trauma, whatever trauma they're in? Is it possible to recover completely?
I always say we always heal in layers. We always heal in layers. So sometimes you may find that you may be somewhere where when you've started the process, you feel like they are called the symptoms. The symptoms have the way they were so heightened, now they have reduced.
Okay.
It is that place where we are helping you come back to normalcy. Things were out of proportion, but now you can come back to normalcy. And you also talk about with therapy, because sometimes you tell people about therapy and they say, I don't have an issue. Maryanne, I don't have an issue. Tell them, okay, good, very good. Just come and you learn how you can maintain that state of health.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, that is great. We have a few questions right there coming on your screen. We want to be able to venture now into our DS expert segment so we can be able to hear what are the views of our guest this morning, Maryanne Kibuchi. Indeed, she's a psychologist and also a psychotherapist. And right there on your screen, we want to begin with our first question. And this morning, Maryanne, you're our dear expert. You're an expert. How should a wife help their husband deal with emotional trauma?
Ooh,
that's a concerned wife.
Yes.
Yeah, and
yes.
She's saying, I want to help my man.
Yes.
Go through emotional trauma.
Yes.
What's your answer?
I will say, number one, I always say therapy has to be 2 ways, because it's a relationship, and relationship, it takes 2 to tango. So it's not one person who is making the dance move, it's 2 people.
Okay.
So the best thing you can do for him, number one, is to go for therapy yourself.
Who?
The wife now.
Okay.
It starts there. Because sometimes some of the issues that are brought up by the husband, they also trigger some of the things that are in the wife, and then inakuwa chaos.
Yeah.
So going for therapy and working on yourself is the best gift you can give somebody in a relationship dynamic. The second thing I will say is you create a safe environment for him to share. So whenever he's talking about something, it's not like you make sure that you don't bring it up in future conversations when you're having a fight.
Yeah.
So he mentioned that he was struggling with something, and then when you get angry later on, you bring it back to him and you tell him, this is what you did, da. So it's good to listen and listen with compassion. And number 3, ask him how you can support him. When he tells you how to support him, then support him in that way.
Okay.
Yes, because sometimes we often hear but we don't listen. So it's good to listen to what somebody is sharing and try your level best. Of course, we make mistakes and it's okay. But it is that place where whatever he's saying, perhaps he just needs you to listen. You just listen. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good answer right there. Yeah. Indeed, we want to check out on another question right there on your screen.
Yeah.
Our guest is here to answer your questions. Dear expert, Maryanne Kibuchi, can I recover fully from emotional wounds?
Not fully. I will not promise you fully, because life has its own curveballs. But what you can do is you can be able to heal in phases and in bits. Yeah, healing is progressive, and as you go on in life, you will be able to heal some of the wounds, and some of those things, once they have healed, they now become scars. They just remind you, oh, this is something that happened to me, but it does not define me.
Okay.
Yes, and that way you are able to even build resilience.
Oh, that's great. That is awesome. Let's look at another one right there coming on your screen. Our dear expert right now this morning is Maryanne Kibuchi. I'm always faced with pressures every day at work. Please, how do I deal with the weight of my job? This man is, totally overwhelmed and by the pressures every day at workplace. What's your answer to them?
Well, I will say that pressures are a normal part of the job, and it depends on the job itself. But I will say create healthy boundaries at work. So let's say, for example, one of the pressures is that sometimes you take work at home. So is it possible for you to create a schedule for you to do the work at work, and when you go home you rest?
Okay.
So that is one of the work boundaries, being able to differentiate between work and home. Yeah, so that you're able to have a place where you're not only working, but you're having a balance, work and rest balance. So that is one. Number two is create work boundaries, healthy boundaries at work with your colleagues at work. So let's say, for example, it's a boss who is overstepping their role, and they're asking you to do things that they are probably not in the job description. So you tell them, like, you're able to communicate whatever that is there, and if they feel that they want you to do something extra, you can negotiate on how they can be able to perhaps compensate you more or something like that. It's about having healthy work boundaries, and also being able to readjust the way you look at things and look at life. I remember when we were in high school, and we will have these motivational speakers, and they will break down the word attitude, and it will come down to 100%.
Yes.
So attitude is everything. So if you're able to change your attitude towards your work, you may be able to see your work in a different perspective, and it may help you even develop that resilience to be able to handle the pressures that come with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Let's look at another one right there on your screen. We are asking our dear expert to answer some of these questions in regard to handling with trauma. Dear expert, I'm a prisoner of my past, was hurt deeply by a woman. I don't think I can ever love again. We're looking forward to Valentine's Day. The man was hurt, completely wounded, and she feels like, I don't want anything to do with women anymore.
Yeah.
That's trauma.
It is. It is. To some extent it is, and it is normal. First of all, I want to say pole sana. It is not easy. Heartbreak is one of the things that is usually very difficult to deal with.
Okay.
Emotional wounds are usually the heaviest. So I will say that you're not really a prisoner of your past, but you can be able to grieve the relationship, because sometimes it's about grieving. Something happened unexpectedly, suddenly, you didn't expect the relationship to end, and it ended. Or somebody did something to you and you did not perceive it, and it just happened. So it is good to be able to grieve. Give yourself time to grieve. Do not rush into another relationship. Just give yourself time to grieve. I know you have said that you may not able to love a woman ever again, but I believe it is possible, because sometimes when we are wounded, sometimes we have a clouded vision, and we think that good things can't happen to us.
Okay.
But they can. But it just needs time, and it's a process, and it's also good to also go for therapy, so that you're able to talk about these things, and you're able to reframe your experience and see it in a different light, so that you can be able to heal.
Oh,
yeah.
That is great. That is great. Man, there's hope right there. You can love again. Valentine is around the corner. Don't throw in the towel. It's too early. You can love again. You can find security. And you can find your love life again. We look at our last question right now on your screen right there, dear expert. How long does it take to totally be healed emotionally? What do I do to maintain inner peace and healing?
Oh, I love that question.
Yeah.
Well, how long does it take? Well, it's a process, and
Yeah.
sometimes it takes long, sometimes it takes a relatively short time. So it's good to give yourself that time. And what can you do to maintain that inner peace and healing? Well, I will say it is being intentional about your healing.
Okay.
I'm telling you, even as somebody who is talking about these issues, I'm talking as a person who has had a human experience, who has been hurt before. Yeah, and I understand the human process of things.
Yes.
So it is good to be intentional about your healing journey. You understand that it is a journey, it is not a destination. Because the moment unasema sasa I am fully healed, something happens again.
Okay.
And you're wondering, guy, Maryanne told us we will heal completely, but it's a process. Because life has its own curveballs and it has its own unexpected challenges. So it's good to not only heal, but to also be open and have a different mindset, adapt a different mindset on how to handle those things when they come, when the life challenges come. And you just maintain that attitude that I will be able to get through this. It may be difficult, but I will get through this.
Yeah.
So how do you maintain inner peace and healing? You continually and consistently work on your healing process, and you do not stop. Because as you do that, you not only heal, but you also get to help other people in the process. Yeah, people who are stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is great answers right there from Maryanne Kibuchi, our psychologist and psychotherapist this morning. We really appreciate for talking to us. Maybe the final one that is in my mind right now as we are wrapping this program. Everything that we have talked about, the trauma, it really also happens within, the aspect of mental health. Mental health, there's a lot of stress that goes on mentally, a lot of emotional trauma. It all affects the mind. It's all about the mind. How do we address the mental health issue? Because that is where all this is coming from. Even the trauma is coming from the aspect where your mind is not addressed. Because that is what I wanted to end up with. What do you tell us this morning about mental wellness?
Well, mental wellness, when it is defined as not only the state of emotional well-being, but also psychological well-being.
Yeah.
But for me, I always look at the holistic approach. So it is what you had mentioned earlier, the state of your spirit, your soul, and your body. But I also add your environment, your social well-being, how you relate with other people, and your financial well-being.
Okay.
Because also that actually impacts your mental health, whether you're conscious of it or not. So it is good to look at those areas. How do you maintain your spirituality? When you're talking about spirituality, we define it differently from religion. But generally with spirituality, it is about purpose.
Okay.
If you can find purpose in life, then there's that inner it's called inner fulfillment that you cannot get anywhere else. For example, when you volunteer for a worthy cause, you feel that fulfillment. You're like, today I have not been paid a cent, but I feel good.
Okay.
I feel like I've contributed to the world. So you can volunteer, find purpose, something that you can look forward to living every day. It's what I think the Japanese called ikigai. So there's the spiritual well-being, there's the soul well-being, which is your mind, will, and your emotions. So that is where we talk about what are you thinking about, what are you feeding your mind with, what are you constantly thinking about, how are you processing the emotions that you're having based on the previous hurts and negative experiences you've had in life.
Okay.
So if you can address those, and that's one area we address in therapy, then you'll be okay. We also talk about your physical well-being. How are you eating?
Okay.
Because sometimes food affects our mental health, whether
Okay.
you're conscious of it or not. I tell people to avoid junk foods and processed foods. Avoid sodas and fries, and you are eating them on a daily basis. It's not good for your mental health. So if you're able to eat a balanced diet, eat food that is rich in a balanced diet, food that is rich in vegetables and fruits,
Yes.
and water. Yeah, go exercise. If you can't exercise, take a walk every day, or you go cycling. Do something with your body. It helps with your mental well-being.
Okay.
There's also the issue of dressing. How you dress actually impacts how you present yourself in the world, how you feel about yourself. So you dress comfortably, dress in a way that you feel comfortable, and those clothes are clean, they are very well ironed. You feel that sense of confidence and boost. Even if you're just at home, you can just do that. If you're a lady, you can go do your nails. For guys, I always tell them you can go get a haircut, or do something that is good for you. It's going to improve your mental well-being, because it's going to boost how you feel about yourself. And if it makes you feel better about yourself, then you'll start having good thoughts about yourself. That is mental health. There's the environmental bit. What environment are you in? At work, are you in a good environment that cultivates a good, that encourages good mental well-being? For environments, also talk about the places that you're living in. Then the places that you're living in, are they conducive for rest? Are they conducive for just being yourself? For kuna hewa safi and all of that. If you're not able to access that in your house, then can you go to a place like Karura, go for a walk, from time to time? It's good for your mental health. For your social well-being, cultivate relationships, healthy relationships with people, and they are balanced relationships. Balanced relationships, they are the ones that, you're not the only one who is giving. It is giving and receiving. So it's like a loop. It goes and comes back. So it's people who care for you and you care for them. And it's being respectful to each other. We say the magic words, excuse me, thank you, I love you, such things that they teach children, but sometimes we forget as adults. Then there's the issue of, I've talked about the environment and I've talked about the social well-being, and there's also the issue of the finances. The issue of spending. How are you spending? Do you have a budget? Do you have healthy financial practices that you can do? Because if you don't take care of your finances, then it impacts. Yes, it will. It will. So you look at that, and you also look at your the environment you have at work. The work that you do, is it actually good? As in, is it? Can you do something for those people who are looking for a sense of purpose? Can you do something that is actually going to pay you at the end? Maybe you can learn a craft or a skill. Nowadays, people are learning more about AI and all of that. Is it something that you can learn, and then as you continue, it can actually pay you back? So those are some of the things that we look at.
All right, that is amazing, and we want to really appreciate our guest this morning, Maryanne Kibuchi, a psychologist, and we really appreciate you. What a wisdom, what a conversation. And we really want to thank you, and even our viewers right there at home. It is great to be with you this morning. We were asking a very simple question, and even before we get to the answer of the day, I know, Maryanne, many people have been watching you, and they will keep watching you. And this kind of wisdom, we need to find it. And they need to look for it, and they need to look for you. Some of them need to look for you for, a therapy session, so that they can be able to address their trauma and what they're going through. Looking at that camera, just connect them to where you are on social media. Your number on the screen. Will be so glad to connect with you.
So you can find me on social media on Facebook, I'm Maryanne Kibuchi. On Instagram, I am at _Maryanne_brand, Maryanne brand. So you can find me there as well. I'm also on TikTok and on X, Maryanne brand as well. You can also find me on YouTube as Maryanne Kibuchi. And for my phone number, you can reach me through 0727 253 777. 0727 253 777. And I'm looking forward to interacting with you, and I'm also requesting that please go for therapy. It is good for you. It's really going to save you so many troubles, and it's going to add you very many years of your life. If that doesn't motivate you, I don't know what will. So please go for therapy. Thank you.
But is it expensive to go for therapy?
It is to some extent. It is expensive, but it is expensive with a reason.
Okay.
Yeah, but there are also places where you can be able to reach, you get free therapy, therapy sessions. I know for telecounseling, I know Chiromo, is it Chiromo? Yeah, Chiromo. They give free telecounseling. Yes, they do that. But if you also connect with me, I can be able to share the resources with you on how you can be able to get free counseling.
Okay.
But for the therapy sessions, I always say it is expensive, but for a reason, because it is one thing that you can invest in for the sake of your own health. Okay. And we always say that health is wealth.
Health is wealth.
Health is wealth. Yeah, so if you're able to, I'm always telling people, sometimes it's a matter of priorities. Sometimes people prioritize sherehe, and I know sometimes people tell me, Maryanne, si ati tutaacha sherehe. I'm not telling you to stop sherehe. I'm telling you to be able to also prioritize on what you're going to invest in, because what you invest in has a lot of impact on where you are going. So where do you want to be? If you want to invest in health, then it is a very good place to start.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Maryanne, for having a live conversation together with us on this particular program every Monday, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., Wellness Monday. And I believe now you are well, you're on your way to healing, and the Lord is also going to help you to totally be whole, body, mind, and spirit. We remind you the question of the day. We want to get to the answer from our director's corner. What was the question of the day? We were asking a very simple question. What has 5 fingers, but it's not a hand? Somebody say it is a toe. Yeah?
Oh.
A toe.
Oh,
You have said surgical gloves. Another one said what? Quite a number of so many things that were said this morning.
Yeah.
But let's see, Mr. Director, what is your answer? Talk to us this morning. This is Director's Corner, and this is where he gives us the answer. It is a glove.
I
Wow,
got it.
you got it. And quite a number of people also, Luxan Max, you got it.
Yes.
And some newsmakers on the street, Zoe TVM Taani also got it. A surgical glove, you know, any glove has 5 fingers, but it's not a hand. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, we are coming to the end of this conversation. Your parting shot on that screen.
I know there is somebody who is there, and you're probably asking yourself, you're probably feeling stuck in life, and you're wondering, how do I move on from this pain? I want to tell you, as somebody who has personally experienced depression, that it is possible to come out of that dark situation, that it is possible to heal. I will encourage you not to give up. If you give up now, what about the rest of the chapters in your life? So please go for therapy. Support is available. Let us continue being intentional about creating men's mental health awareness. Let us talk to our men. Let us reach out to them. Let us reach out to even women as well, because we need everyone. Yeah, and let us do our part. It is our responsibility to heal. So if we can do that, we will be in a much better place. And I'm wishing you nothing but the very best. And I'm telling you right now, live, that healing is possible. I wish you all the best, and I look forward to interacting with you more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for having us this morning. We do this all over again tomorrow when we come for Youth in Business and Youth in Leadership tomorrow morning with a great guest. Also, we're focusing on the issues of business and leadership. Thank you for being part and parcel of Zoe Breakfast today. Every time we come to the end of this conversation, we always say goodbye to our guests looking like there on that particular screen. We want to give them a salute. You know, it's a salute to say we really honor you.